I really want to talk to Sam in the UK.
Let's
Sam,
talk to Sam.
You're live with Eric and V. How are you doing?
I am good. How are you guys doing?
Doing
Trying
good.
to stay safe. What do you want to talk about today?
Well, there's slavery in the Bible.
Slavery in the Bible.
Why justified?
You think slavery in the Bible is justified?
Well, I've heard many Christians say, the Bible doesn't condone slavery, but from my reading, it does. God does allow slavery.
Okay.
We need to accept it.
Go ahead.
Yeah. So the thing is, if you're an atheist, it can be hard for you to accept, even if you believe it, because you're thinking, that God is all meant to be all good, but we don't really understand God. God is kind of, the way I see it, kind of like a high level. He's the author of our reality. He can create and destroy wherever he wants here, and we can't.
How dare we make any judgment
the way we?
Yeah, so that's actually another fallacious type of way of arguing. Did you hear the conversation that we had with Carlos just a few minutes ago?
Yeah, but Carlos is right. I mean, the Bible. You say you read the Bible. Is the Bible written for atheists or written for the believers?
What?
Atheists or what?
Is the Bible, who is it written for? Is it written for the believers at that time, or is it written for atheists?
Again? Really? Right after the last caller?
Maybe that's why he wants to talk about it.
Okay.
So.
You still there?
Yeah, I'm having trouble understanding where the conversation is right now.
Right. So if the Bible is not meant for atheists, then why should we listen to you as atheists?
Yeah. For atheists, it's hard to accept. Unless you have evidence of God, then for an atheist, it's understandably hard to accept that this is from God, because
I didn't accept this when I was a Christian. When I was a Christian, the thing that led me out of my Christianity and into rational thinking was reading things like slavery in the Bible, like Paul's rampant misogyny. These things are things I didn't accept as a Christian after doing research and reading for myself. I didn't read the Bible as an atheist and suddenly go, I don't understand this anymore. What are these words? Are these words? No, I read them as a Christian with the preconception that God existed, that I was of the right religion, that I was saved, that Jesus existed. All of these things were presuppositions that I was bringing to the table, and I still rejected it as a Christian.
Yeah, but then when you read the Bible, but why do you, what did you learn about God? Did God in the Bible ever say he was all loving and he was going to forgive everyone and everyone's going to get sort of, a great life? There's nothing like that in the Bible. In the Bible, it's quite, in parts, it's quite brutal. There's quite a lot, something disturbing. And the way I see it should make you think, why does God, if I do believe in a God, why did a God write this down? And when you think about it, eventually it does start making sense, but you need to have, I think, what's it called? A lot more thinking about this.
I need to do more thinking about it.
So, so if we don't have the same conclusion as you, we need to think more? Is that the argument that you're making?
I'm saying it took me a long time to understand this, because for a while, I was a bit upset about this slavery in the Bible, and I was looking at reasons of trying to kind of say, oh, this slavery is not allowed because this and that. But if you read it properly, God does condone it, and it condones in the Quran as well.
Okay,
yes. It took me a long time to sort of.
No, I get it. As I was deconverting, I had just about every possible version of God at some point. First, there was the, triomni God, right? The one who's all good, all powerful, all knowledgeable. And, the standard American Protestant Christian version of God. And then as I learned more and did more research, it's like, okay, maybe God isn't all powerful. Maybe God isn't all knowing. Maybe God isn't all good. Maybe it's some combination of these. So I've done that, mix in the bag and pull out versions of God that fit with my worldview. My question then is, okay, look, okay, say we grant this God is not all good. This God is not all powerful. This God is not the triomni God that other Christians would posit. So what?
This is all powerful God. This God is all powerful, and because he's all powerful, all knowing, then from a God's perspective, it's okay to have all this suffering in the world and about all these bad things that happen here, because in the end, in the hereafter, God's going to make it all right and be perfect. But in this life, we're meant to accept.
That's bullshit. I'm sorry.
It's nonsense from an atheist point of view.
Global pandemic. You are saying it's all right because when you die, it'll be all better? Seriously, man? This is tone deaf as fuck. I'm sorry.
Then what is a God then? What's your idea of a God?
I don't have one.
We're listening to you, and the God that you're bringing up is kind of a dick.
Yeah, but I'm saying if you look at what we know about God as humans, when we're born, we have no knowledge of God. The only way we learn about God, is through other people or through books. That's the only way we learn about who God is, or So depending where you're brought up in, what religion or whatever, or where you're brought up, you'll get that kind of worldview from where you were brought up. And then when you get older, you're gonna sort of research yourself and find out, if it is a God. But whatever you do, wherever your source is, it's going to be from some book or from someone else. So
Right.
you got to decide, whether
Okay, so.
You're going.
So I
okay.
You don't know God outside of the books that talk about God and the people that talk about God. You're describing indoctrination, and I agree with that. How is this backing up your point?
So I'm saying you got to decide, okay. First of all, this God, okay, if your God is all powerful, all knowing, where is the evidence for that? You got to decide, okay, how am I supposed to, believe that, without just, because people lie. Books are written by, lying people, so you can't really trust the books.
Well, Sam, we're talking about two different things here, and we're kind of bouncing back and forth. And it's two things that we're talking about right now.
Because
Sam, hold on.
Once you realize God is all powerful.
Sam, hold on. We're talking about two different things here, and I want to try and bring the topic to one thing. We're talking about whether or not God exists, right? And you're backing that up by saying, how do we learn about God and how do we study and investigate that? And then the other piece that's being talked about right now is slavery moral? Can it be moral? And how to, what does that say about the character of that God? We could actually grant you the idea, okay, this, in the same way that we can talk about other fictional
right. Okay,
guys,
fine. God
right?
has your attributes for the duration of this conversation. Why do we care?
Absolutely. And we can make judgments about that, right? We can talk about Voldemort,
right?
And go, what Voldemort did was terrible, or Sauron, or any number of bad guys in fiction. We can talk about, whether or not their actions were moral or ethical, without granting that they exist. And so if we're talking about the ethical, moral character of that deity that you're describing, sure, we can have that discussion. But if we're talking about whether or not that deity exists, then we got to quit bouncing back and forth, because I don't know where to grab on or even begin this conversation in a meaningful way. Sam, you were put on hold because you were talking over me. So we're going to put you back on. What do you think of that?
Okay. Well, see, if you're looking for it, you have to understand what God is. Is he all powerful? Is he all knowing? Because if he is, and he can eliminate all people's suffering in hereafter, and he can make everyone happier, then he's at a different level. And in the same way, you can't say a lion is wrong for killing a deer or something. In the same way, God is at a different level. You can't say he's wrong for causing death and misery in our lives.
Hold on. What kind of horse shit is that? So wait a second. Are you saying that your God is amoral? That there are no moral bearings that you can put onto God?
That's right. Yeah, that's right.
That God is completely without ethic.
No, he's got ethic, but I'm saying, innit, we can't judge him the way we judge others.
Why not?
Because he's God. He's a different level.
Sorry, he quested long enough and he leveled up. Therefore, we can't talk about it. No, we can actually make moral judgments about decisions. Let's bring this up. Right? Have you heard about the veil of ignorance?
What's that? No.
No, the veil of ignorance, the idea, if you're talking about creating a society, right? We're going to put you in God's shoes, right? And you're going to get the opportunity to create your own world, right? Your own society. The best way to do that is if you don't know who you are in that society. You can be a pauper or you can be a king. But the way that you build a society that is most equitable is if you do not know who you get to be in that society. Okay? So let's pull that God out, because I don't think that God would be okay with that. And I don't think you would be okay with that. And on top of that, I really do think that if I were to put that to you, Sam, if you could build a world without cancer, would you?
Depends on what you build that world for. You got to understand why God made this world for.
I didn't ask you that, Sam. I asked you, if you could create a world without cancer, would you?
As a human being, yeah, I would.
Know,
but if I God, yeah,
I like how you're adding a whole bunch onto that to try and justify it. No, I think you're a more moral creature than your God, and I applaud you for it. And your God is a fucking asshole.
But you don't understand why we've been created for. It depends on.
You need to show that we were created before you can determine what it was for, can't you? Don't you?
Why? No, you don't. I mean, in the same way, you can discuss whether, some things, you can discuss whether what God does in the Bible, yeah? In the same way, you don't have to prove God exists before you discuss what he's done in the Bible, Got
it. Okay, so we're still talking about... Okay, I think we agree that your God is a fucking asshole. When you can tell me that God exists in the universe that we're in, then we can talk about that.
Sorry?
Okay.
Sounds good.
Sounds good. Thanks,
yep.
Sam.
Alrighty. Who are we going to talk to? I'm glad he agreed that, in as much as we're entertaining the idea so that we can determine whether or not that God is a moral creature. Cool. We both agree that God does things that you would consider immoral. Now, if you want to talk about whether or not we have the right to, I think that's a really weird appeal.
Yeah, I don't know, man. Let's move.